The Nigerian Senate has passed the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act Bill 2024. The Senate resolution followed its consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund. The report.
President Bola Tinubu, in a letter written to the Senate last Thursday, sought the repeal of the existing law and submitted a fresh bill to be passed into law. This request came a day after the announcement of a temporary suspension of the commencement of the student loan scheme, which would allow students of tertiary institutions access interest-free loans to complete their studies. The chairman of the committee, Senator Muntari Donduse, presented the report during plenary.
The bill seeks to achieve the following: provide loan to qualified applicant to pay tuition fee, charges, and upkeep during their courses of study. Senate do consider and pass the student loan access to higher education repeal and enactment bill 2024 SB 398 to ensure smooth access to higher education.
The bill, which scaled first, second and third readings in both parliamentary sittings, became law on Wednesday.
The Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, and approved as follows. Loan title as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 36 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 37 as recommended. Short title, clause 38 as recommended. Schedules 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
The amendments sought to the act by President Bola Tinubu, according to an explanatory memorandum made available to reporters, included the removal of the family income threshold as a condition for applying for the student loan. It also removed the guarantor requirement so that students can apply for and receive loans subject to application and identity verification guidelines as provided by the fund. Student applicants can no longer be disqualified based on their parents' loan history. It established a justice and fairness provision mandating the board to ensure a minimum national spread of loans approved and disbursed in each financial year. On repayment of loans, the bill indicated that the repayment shall begin as soon as the beneficiary becomes employed in any capacity. It pointed out that any person who provides a false statement to the fund under this section is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 3 years.
President Bola Tinubu has appealed to members of the National Assembly to exercise restraint in summoning heads of ministries, departments and agencies before parliamentary committees. Now, the president made the appeal while speaking at the breaking of the Ramadan fast on Wednesday in Abuja, alongside the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and the leadership of the House. Tinubu noted that while oversight is essential for maintaining transparency and accountability in governance, excessive summoning of officials can disrupt operations and hinder service delivery to citizens. He therefore urged lawmakers to, in the exercise of their oversight functions, use discretion. According to a statement on Wednesday by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajurin Gilali, the President appealed to the lawmakers to exercise their constitutional duties, but allow the MDAs to do their jobs also. Still on the president, he has banned public-funded international trips for ministers, officials, and heads of agencies. Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, conveyed the directive in a letter to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akome. The letter cited the, quote, current economic challenges and the need for responsible fiscal management, end of quote, as reasons for the temporary ban on international travel funded by taxpayers. Tinubu said exemptions would need presidential approvals, which must be sought 2 weeks ahead of the planned trip. The letter says the president has concerns about the rising cost of travel expenses borne by ministries, departments, and agencies of government, as well as the growing need for cabinet members and heads of MDAs to focus on their respective mandates for effective service delivery. Considering the current economic challenges and the need for responsible fiscal management, The president's directive places a temporary ban on all public-funded international trips for all federal government officials at all levels for an initial period of 3 months from 1st April 2024. This temporary measure is aimed at cost reduction in governance and intended as a cost-saving measure without compromising government functions. In the lower house, it was a busy Wednesday for members of the National Assembly in the Green Chamber as they addressed several issues during the day's plenary. From approving an extension period for the capital component of the 2024 appropriations bill to urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials for victims of flooding in Makoko and Otumara communities in Lagos mainland. The House also condemned the proliferation of orphanage homes in the country, among others. Here's the report. Now, the Labour Party condemned the invasion of its party secretariat by the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress, led by Joe Ajero. The National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Abayomi Arabambi, called for Ajero's arrest for treason for allegedly planning a political insurrection against the federal government through conduct likely to cause a breach of peace. Ajero was accused of inciting students, market women, leaders, thugs and other miscreants to invade the 36 states chapter of Labour Party offices, which could lead to a breakdown of law and order. The NLC had directed its members to mobilize workers and lay siege to LP secretariats across the country to protest the party's national convention planned for March 27. The circular, jointly signed by the chairman and secretary of the NLC Political Commission, Titus Amba and Chris Uyot, respectively, also demanded the immediate resignation or sacking of the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, over alleged financial rascality and contempt of the union president, Joe Ajero. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission has urged media organizations to combat fake news targeted against the commission as the off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states draw closer. Noel Sampson has more.
The chairman of the commission, during the first consultative meeting with media organizations, briefed media houses about the commission's preparations towards the off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states. He also charged them to combat fake news.
A very important reality in today's age of information technology is the spread of fake news and misinformation instantly and on a global scale. I urge you to be a bulwark against fake and misleading fake news and misleading narratives about the Commission and its activities.
Responding on behalf of the media organizations, the president of NUJ, Chris Isiguzo, assured the INEC chairman of the media's continued collaboration with the commission in preventing the election that the country deserves. He urged all media houses to continue their fight for good, fair and credible elections.
Having become more like a family in this gathering, we must carry forward the spirit of collaboration and dedication to democratic principles. We must continue to work hand in hand, united in our pursuits of a more just, inclusive, and democratic society.
This is the second off-cycle elections since the February and March 2023 general elections. Polls will open in Edo and Odo State on the 21st September and November 16th later this year. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja on Wednesday convicted and sentenced a man, Dennis Okubia, to 20 years imprisonment for raping a 12-year-old girl for 3 months, which caused urinary incontinence. Justice Ismail Ijelu held that the victim had testified that she went for evangelism and in the process went to check on the convict who had not been coming to church, as the pastor of her church said they should visit members who had not been seen for some time. He said that she testified that because she respected Okubiat as an elder of their church, she went to check on him and then helped him carry out domestic chores. Justice Ijelu also stated that when the victim was cross-examined by the defense counsel, M.O. Karim, she repeated that the convict said if she told anybody, he would kill her. The judge further held that Okubiak didn't deny the testimony of the victim, nor did he challenge it. He also testified that he had known the victim's family since the time they came into the community. The Central Bank of Nigeria has cleared all $7 billion foreign exchange backlog inherited by Governor Yemi Cardoso of the Central Bank. In a statement yesterday, Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Central Bank of Nigeria, Hakama Sidi Ali, confirmed the settlement of all valid forex backlog claims. She explained that the CBN had employed Deloitte Consulting, an independent auditing firm, to meticulously assess the transactions, ensuring that only legitimate claims were honored and invalid transactions were referred to the relevant authorities for further investigation. The Naira rebounded against the United States dollar on Wednesday at the official and parallel markets, with the local currency recording a significant gain against the greenback at the black market. The 2019 World Population Review estimated that approximately 49% of Nigerians' population resides in urban areas, marking a significant increase from 16% in 1960. This indicates a notable trend of internal migration within the country, influenced by various factors such as insecurity and unemployment. Pushed out of their native communities and the urgent need for better opportunities, internal migrants often face challenges accessing decent shelter and other essential public services. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail looks into the lives of residents in Ruga 1, a neighborhood situated in the Wuye area of Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Here's the report.
Believe it or not, this is in the heart of Abuja, a stark contrast to the high-rise buildings and beautiful streets that usually accompany the opulence synonymous with the federal capital. About 700 people reside in over 300 makeshift houses, as reported by a local official in the settlement. Many of the residents left their homesteads in search of better opportunities in Abuja. 47-year-old Abubakar Isa relocated from Sokoto to Abuja with hopes of improving his family's life. Abubakar, who supports 2 wives and 8 children, struggles to access basic public services in Abuja while working hard to fund his children's education. I gave my eldest son, who is in secondary school, 1,000 naira as transport fare daily. The other 4 children get 200 naira each, and they take meals from home. Every day I spend 1,800 naira to send them to school. We endure the pains of illness. We don't go to the hospital except someone collapses, because we can't even afford the cost of laboratory tests. Even in public health facilities, we rely on drug vendors in the streets. Abubakar works hard to provide for his family, while his wife Jumai bravely withstands the scorching heat inside their makeshift home. She perseveres in her efforts to secure a better future for their children through education. However, her aspirations face mounting challenges due to the limited availability of basic education in their community.
I wake
up at 6:30 a.m. to make sure my children go to school at exactly 7 a.m. Because the school is very far and they must trek or take a care. But they play on the road and sometimes they come back home without reaching the school.
Amidst the uncertainty of residing in these makeshift homes, businesses flourish within this environment, providing employment opportunities and addressing the issue of unemployment. However, the residents aspire to improve their living conditions and seek government intervention to access better housing options. As it stands, the government is supporting us by allowing us to live here because we don't own this land. But if the government can allocate plots or build houses for us, even if we are allowed to live temporarily for some period of years, it is better.
Ku yi gini amma iya shekaru kaza aka ɗiban muku gaba ɗaya zuwa wannan lokacin kowa zai iya tashi ya kama gaban shi ko kuma ya neman ma kanshi mahita.
We are Nigerians. It is painful to refer to someone who has lived in a city for 10 years as a stranger. That's why we want the government to cater for us, just the way it does to all citizens. We are also Nigerians and contribute to nation's building. Nigeria's capital, Abuja, is often seen as a city that offers greener pastures for most Nigerian migrants seeking for better living conditions. And according to an online medium, Urbanet, known for its publications around migration, Nigerian cities will be populated with people who seek for decent accommodations, but mostly people living here in such slum areas in Abuja struggle to survive the accommodation challenges. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is a news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Lagos residents task federal government to take immediate action to ensure food security in the nation. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Update on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Senate passes reworked student loan, prescribes jail term for defaulters. Naira rebounds against the dollar as CBN settles major backlog. Now to more stories. The federal government says it will collaborate with the Jigawa state government to spearhead the inclusion of Almajiri pupils in the homegrown school feeding program. The collaboration is also targeted at reducing the menace of out-of-school children roaming the streets in the state and the region as a whole. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on the Homegrown School Feeding Program, Yetunde Adeniji, disclosed this during a meeting at the Government House in Dutse. The report. We will give you that report in our subsequent bulletins. Residents of Lagos State are calling on the federal government to take immediate action to ensure food security in the nation. To achieve this, they want the federal government to facilitate massive importation of food by opening all borders in the country.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's decision to subsidize staple food items have significantly eased the burden on families, ensuring that putting meals on the table becomes a bit easier. While this is a welcome development for those who have access to this subsidy, others say not all areas, particularly those within the 57 local council development areas, have equal access to the subsidy. The sadist unequal distribution may lead to chaotic situations and stress the need for federal intervention.
What will solve this situation is for the government at the federal level to allow for massive importation of food. The borders must be open for foods to come in. That should be the immediate solution, because when there is it's a simple economic arrangement. When you have surplus of food items, the prices automatically will crash.
The food subsidy initiative has been commended across the state following its significant impact on the welfare of the masses.
To the problem of high cost of food items, but that the government started this program is a welcome development, and I know that there can be improvement. The program for now is a temporary one. The government can extend it further, and that's not the final solution, like I said. I know that Lagos State government is also embarking on a large-scale agriculture, farming, in order to solve the problem of availability of food and also reduce the cost of food.
But we have employed the government to please come to our aid. People are suffering. Some people do not have money to buy that loaf of bread. Some people do not have money to buy that rice. The rice at 55,000 is uncalled for. How can we be buying rice? Local rice, for that matter, at 55,000 is uncalled. Please, government should look into it and help the masses.
They emphasized the importance of creating suitable grazing area for the cattle to ensure food security and stability in the nation.
Now away from Nigeria, Senegal will head to the polls Sunday to vote in a tightly contested presidential race that has fired up political tensions and tested one of West Africa's most stable democracies. The presidential election will take place after much uncertainty following President Macky Sall's unsuccessful effort to delay the February 25th vote until the end of the year, sparking violent protests. In the latest turn of events leading up to Sunday's vote, top opposition leader Usman Sonko was released from prison last week, triggering jubilant celebrations on the streets of Dakar and renewed excitement about the contest. Sunday's election is set to be Senegal's fourth democratic transfer of power since it gained independence from France in 1960. Senegal is viewed as a pillar of stability in a region that has seen dozens of coups and attempted coups in recent years. Alioune Tine, founder of Africa Jom, a Senegalese think tank, told the Associated Press that Sunday's election has set a grim record in the country's democratic history, with rights groups accusing Sall's government of repressing the media, civil society, and the opposition. A former Mississippi police officer has been sentenced to 40 years in prison for torturing two black men in a house. 29-year-old Christian Dedmon is one of 6 officers convicted of over the 24 January 2023 assault. 3 other former officers have been sentenced to a total of more than 54 years in prison for the attack. Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker were beaten, shocked with stun guns, and sexually assaulted by the officers. In a statement read by his lawyer and read in court, Jenkins said Dedmon was the most wicked of his assailants. And in sports, Nigerian sensation Tobi Amusan has claimed a 3rd consecutive gold medal in the 100 meters hurdle at the ongoing African Games in front of the roaring crowd in Accra, Ghana. The defending champion, who finished at 12.89 seconds, won her first gold in 2015, 2019 and now 2024 in a magical fashion. Tobi Amusan crossed the finish line ahead of Madagascar's Sidoni and Zimbabwe's Kamangirara. Following her triumphs in Brazzaville 2015, Rabat 2019 and in Accra 2023, the world record holder extends her record of being the only athlete to have won it more than twice. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. For more news, programs and documentaries, please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo, member of the news production team. Thank you so much for joining us.